Hi, everybody, and welcome to the next edition of the Quantum Compass. This is episode number 9. My name is David Farrell. I'm one of your co-hosts for today. And as always, I'm joined by my wonderful partner, the one and only, the beautiful...
Bella Alvaran. Hi, everyone.
Right. Hey, Bella, how are you doing? This is kind of a full-on energy moment that we're in, right?
Yes, quite the week. We're recording on a Uranus Cazimi, but we're going to go into the next wave spell, which starts very soon on the 17th.
Right, exactly. So we have been going Cazimi crazy recently, and we'll allude to that a little bit more because we do have another Cazimi coming up, a very, very powerful one, which is day 2 of this next wave spell, which is the red magnetic moon. So as always, for those of you that are new to this show, what we do is we take a pulse on the upcoming Mayan wave spell or dream spell, as some might call it, which is always 13 days, and our resident Mayan expert, the one and only Bella Alvaran, is going to talk us through what is happening with that. And then I'm going to pick out some of the key astrological points during those 13 days to see how they sit together, to give us some navigational points of reference. And then we're going to have a look at some plants that can assist us on this journey. But you know what, Bella, I think that we've been doing this now for, well, this is episode number 8. So we've kind of got into a flow with each other. Number 9, right? Sorry, yes, even number 9. And it's like, wow, when I look back and see how we've been flowing through each of the wave spells, there's a continuity and a journey there that is difficult to deny. And I think that that's one of the things that I want to try and showcase to our audience today is to look back and to review, actually, a bit like Pluto is reviewing those first 2 degrees of Aquarius right now, what actually happened already this year, because it's a lot. And we're coming to a place, I feel, of culmination. I'm super excited, actually. Maybe it's the Uranus Cazimi that hit early this morning, but I woke up feeling excited. And where would you like to begin with today's presentation, Bella?
Right, let me just pull it up here. How does that look?
Looks good.
Okay. Right, so we'll start with the layer that we added in the last episode, which is following the 13 moons, which are part of the galactic calendar. When you add the Solkin, which is the Mayan, plus 13 moons, then you are kind of doing a lunisolar plus a galactic constant. You put in a different measure of time. So we are still in the moon, which is called the spectral moon of liberation. And as the name says, it's all about liberation. We're still in the process for one more wave spell of liberating, of releasing, of letting go, of shedding the skin of anything that we don't need anymore. And obviously, the totem animal of the serpent is all about that. And I put here on the side a wave spell. If you don't know what a wave spell is, it's just 13 steps. And as you follow each one of the moons, each one of them will help you in certain processes. So this particular moon will go from the 2nd of May and it finishes on the 29th of May, which is when we finish this process. And then from 11, we go to moon number 12, which is a completely different energy. And that is very much in accordance to what we're seeing with the astrology, which is the beauty and the magic. And if you've been doing the Mayan course, you realize that there is so much interconnection between astrology and this type of reading of time. Mm-hmm. So the glyph for this wave spell is the moon, the red moon. And it's, as we mentioned before, the red glyphs are all about initiating. So we're going also to be getting ready to initiate a process at this point. And let me tell you a little bit about the wave spell. So we're right here on day 209. This would be on the 17th of May, by the way. So this is the glyph of the red moon. And we will be starting on day 209 and would finish here on day 221. So as you see here, we're getting very much close to, let me get my pointer so I can show you easier. Here, we're going to follow this red path, finishing here, and then we only have 3 more after that, 3 more wave spells, and then we finish the Solkin. So I'm going to introduce a new layer today for those that are following the Mayan stuff and maybe are more familiar with it or have been doing the course. And so it's the concept of a castle. And a castle, as we saw in the course, is a block of 4 wave spells. And we're about to start one here on the 17th. In fact, we're going to do a whole green castle. That means that we are going to finish the Soul Kin in 4 wave spells: 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is the one we're going to be doing. So if you are thinking of a project or an idea and you want to do something with it within the next 52 days, so it's a really good moment to just practice. And this is very much like playing and following synchronicities. It's a different way of seeing time, of flowing with it, which is what this wave spell is all about. It's about flow. Is the red moon, and some of the qualities of the red moon are purification. So we want to focus on that over the next 13 days, starting on the 17th. Goes from the 17th of May to May 29th. The red moon also has to do with natural cycles. Very important, with self-remembrance, getting in touch with who we really are, our codes, what did we come to do, what are our gifts, what are our talents. The other quality of the red moon is the power of universal water. So everything that has to do with water, with the rain, with the rivers, with the oceans, it's all connected to this glyph. It's like you work with this elemental. So very good if you're, for example, in a place where there is drought, it's a really good moment to call in this glyph over the next 13 days. The red moon also has to do with fluidity, with flow, with adaptability, release and renewal, which is the theme of the serpent and the current moon. Following the signs, the synchronicities as well. Follow the divine guidance, cosmic communication, lunar wisdom, everything that has to do with your intuition, the feminine aspect of seeing more than the eye can see, you know, all of these sixth sense type of things that many women have, but men too, if you are connected with your feminine side. Feeling and being in awakened attention and awareness, and being a beacon of light. So these are all many good qualities connected to the red moon. And the shadow work for these next 13 days will have to do with resistance. If you're still resistant to go with the flow, resistant change, resistant transformation, resistant the changing world that we're living in. We're in the middle of the biggest change probably for our planet. And so if we're still resistant to new ideas, new ways of doing things, then there is going to be an issue here. And it's what it's inviting us to do. Another shadow to do with the red moon is negative self-talk. Many people still repeat to themselves things that, you know, it could be that you're saying it as a joke, but the subconscious mind doesn't recognize jokes. Or so whatever you're saying to yourself, it's exactly what you are manifesting in your life. So be very mindful of what you're saying to yourself about yourself. Another part of the shadow of this glyph is to hide your light, not to want to shine for whatever reason. It could be a program or a trauma, but not to want to show your light and your glyphs, and your gifts is part of this shadow. Also, to be too distracted and missing the signs and synchronicities. If you're not paying attention, you're missing out on talking to the universe and the guidance. More tips for the transformation of this shadow is to be grateful, to forgive anything that comes our way. There could be quite a bit of emotional upheaval in this wave spell. And again, go with the flow, with the river of life. Your soul will be giving you guidance. You just need to be in that flow. Connect deeply with water, talk to the water in your body, talk to the water as an elemental, talk to the water of the planet, and open yourself to guidance. So it's really beautiful. It feels very feminine as well. So it's that part of awakening your feminine side, if you're a male as well, of course. These are the questions, the reflective questions to work with on every single day. I've been showing this on the previous ones, so I won't spend too much time on this one, but basically you ask a question on every single day, starting on day 1, where you want to identify the purpose that you have for these 13 days. Or if you want to do the whole cycle of 52 days, which is the green castle, then you could say, okay, I'm going to define my purpose now for these 52 days, and I'll follow it as game, every day ask a question. And that is very much it for the Mayan. Do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, quite a few actually. Can we go back a few slides? I didn't want to interrupt you while you were sharing, but let's go back maybe one more. Yeah, let's start with this one. So, in fact, go back one more. There was so much that I just wanted to touch upon. So let's start with the moon. I think that's really, really interesting that we're still very much in the energy of the skin shedding, the metamorphosis process that kind of really came through when Mars conjuncted Neptune just a short while back in this wave spell, actually, early in this wave spell at the 29th degree, and which the Sabian symbol talked about metamorphosis. So what I'm understanding and even feeling and experiencing, Bella, as I know you are too, is a shedding of old skins and like things that we've done before that were great before, but now somehow don't seem to fit quite as well. It's like an old suit that it doesn't really quite have the same.
What doesn't work for you anymore.
Right. It's like, it's like wearing a suit that got you a job 25 years ago and still wearing it because it feels lucky, but it was 25 years ago and you're not the same person anymore. So maybe time for a new suit,
Yeah.
right? Treat yourself, feel good about yourself, right? So I think that's really, really cool that we still have this energy to work with. And I would like to use that as Exhibit A for our audience. Remember, this is a time that we can shed skins and we can reimagine ourselves. We can remember ourselves. That I think is crucial. So
Our true selves.
our true selves, and you're going to be hearing quite a bit about this later in this episode and from us, I think, in the coming weeks. Also, what's interesting, I think, is just that what you alluded to there, Bella, was these kind of lining up of these different clocks, we can say, or not really clocks, but cycles of time. And with the 13-day wave spell, we've got essentially a short-term plan spell, 13 days that you can bring something to fruition. But now with the introduction into the audience mind space here of the castles, the 4 wave spells, I feel like we're being given more of an invitation now to step into a medium plan, short, medium, and then we can also plan on a longer plan, a Zolkin even, or even further. If we want to plan our karmic cycles, we can go way out into the universe and take on some of the bigger Mayan cycles. But the reason I wanted to allude to that is everything is important. Every day is important. And as this slide so beautifully shows, when we look at the layout of this 13 days, we have 3 galactic portals, right, Bella? 3, as they're called, gaps, galactic activation portals. Would you like to share anything more to our audience about how
Okay,
to
so
most of
these
these?
green squares here are the galactic portals, and we have one on the 18th of May, which is the Jupiter Cazimi, another one on the 19th, and then another one here, which should be 19, 20, the 25th here
Is
of
also the day
May.
that Jupiter enters Gemini, a very significant shift
Yeah, so it's
in
beautiful
astrological
how
energy.
it always matches the astrology somehow. So those days, as I've said before, is like when you have the Wi-Fi of the universe wide open for you to do some more downloads and uploads, ask questions, get more information. There's more access to more things.
Right. Beautiful. And a lot of what we're trying to share, Bella, is that even whilst we're down here in the sort of more dense energy of what we call the soup or the 3D existence, we can actually connect very much into our galactic selves. And that is a lot of what we are trying to share these days through the quantum compass and through some of the material that we're offering on quantumplanet.world or QPW, which we'll talk a little bit about later. We've got some exciting news to share, but here I think is a very important image that I just want to pause on for a few moments and talk a bit more, or perhaps even you can talk about, Bella. So we've got essentially 5 castles here, and so the red one is the initiating set of 4 wave spells. The white one is the refining
This would be
set
the
of
beginning of a Solkin, the beginning of a 260-day cycle. So after these 4
right.
wave spells, we go to a white castle, then we go to a blue castle, yellow castle, and now we're entering a green castle here with these particular wavespell, which is the red magnetic moon.
Right. And so again, for maybe just to reiterate a point, but also for our new audience members, red is initiating, white is refining, blue is transformational, we can say,
Yep.
and yellow?
Ripening.
Ripening. And so then what is the green? Would that be integration?
It
Or
would be the integration of all of that energy before we move to a next cycle, yeah.
Right. So we can say in this last sequence that we're doing at the end of the Solcan, we are integrating everything that has gone before in the last 260 days, or it will be by the end of this cycle. And so it feels very, very important, because I feel like 2023 and 2024 were the years that somehow, if we will remember in the future, and that's a debatable point, but we will recognize as being the turning point in our evolution here on planet Earth. And I think that we are right at the peak of that energy, and we're going to explore that through the astrology in a minute. But I think this is a really good image, Bella, for our audience to kind of have as a sort of a guide, a visual guide as to how this all flows, and how you can start to, because here's the bigger cycle we just alluded to, right?
Yes.
The set of 5 castles that makes up a Mayan Zolkin, or year.
Yes.
So what we're trying to show everybody through all of this is how to manage your time in a way that you always have enough time for everything that you need. And I think probably one of the things I hear most often from people is, oh, I would do this if I just had more time. And like, what is your time filled up with? Well, it's filled up with da 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 da. It's like, well, if we retake control of our time, right, Bella, we retake control of our lives.
Also to see which is the more conducive energy for any particular project or idea, because there is something that will get you in the flow. Like this one is asking you to go absolutely in the flow, which says it has the action of purification. So good moment to purify anything that you need to do, maybe another detox if you're still needing to do so. Or as we're going to see with the plants, you could do some smudging or something that will help you with purifying your energy and your waters. It has the essence of flow and the power of universal water. So we can connect with the much bigger consciousness of what water is.
And I think that's really important at this stage. There's a few key words there that I would just like to expand on before we look at the astrology. And yes, purification, I think, is important. And one of today's plants is really going to assist in that process in a number of different ways. Self-remembrance, I think, is really critical. If we are to truly recognize ourselves as sovereign, homoluminescent cosmic human beings, then we need to remember who we truly are in our fullest glory, not the little 3D picture that we have of ourselves down here, which is probably what many people are still working with. And as we move forward into the 5th dimensional frequencies, and we can say other frequencies too, more easily, more consciously, we will become aware of the fact that we are actually much bigger, vaster beings, having multiple experiences simultaneously, not just here on Earth, but actually in many other stars and planets too, because we are part of all it is. We are part of everything. And I think that's really, really important. And particularly in relation to the plants, Bella. Yeah.
We'll go into the
Go on.
plants at the end, because the ones that we chose are very important and connected to these. I also want to mention here that this glyph and this energy for this wave spell contains the feminine attributes, like the primordial waters, the sacred womb. So we're going to put what we dreamt about in the previous wave spell of the Blue Knight. Then the warrior told us, take action, move forward. And so here we're going to get this project into a womb space where it's going to probably take form. So it's a good idea to put something that you want to create for the next 13 days, 52 days, 260 days. Think of a cycle that you feel comfortable with, depending on what kind of project you have. And also it's a good moment because we're assisted by this universal water in the process of releasing any old karma. What we said, anything that doesn't serve you anymore, good moment for purification, let it go so you can go and put the new into that womb space, especially things to do with the ancestral line.
Brilliant. And yeah, you know, I was looking into ancestral healing just this week for a variety of reasons, and we were even talking about it, how much of an effect one person can have when they work back up the family line or the ancestral lines, because you're clearing not just for yourself, but you're clearing for multiple people across multiple timelines in certain situations. However many people were affected by one action can ripple across time quite a lot more than you would think.
So
And
we were
so
talking
one
about
action,
that. sorry, if you did any of the immersions with us, if you've done the biodecoding or dealt with your shadow or done any of this work that has to do with like family constellations and all of those, you are actually releasing generations. So you are actually affecting thousands, if not millions, within, if you look back and even forward. So it's 7 generations that are affected once you do your inner work. That was the importance of doing so much of it. So if there is anything left, good 13 days for you to do any final bits and pieces of that.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, you know, with the energy that we have coming in, or there's already with us actually, so much of this energy of Taurus, of abundance, of fertility, of ground up, but then coupled with the expansiveness of Jupiter and also the energy of Venus coming into the mix now as well. I mean, there's a lot of energy in Taurus, and I think that we want to be in the best place we can, Bella, to receive the phenomenal amount of light that is hitting our planet. And of course, we are just coming off the back of potentially one of the biggest solar storms and X-class flares events that the sun has emitted in the last couple of decades, if readings are correct. And there are many, how to say, conflicting theories about what we've been seeing over the last few days with the sun. And I think that we're still in the process of the sun delivering its message. Today being another Cazimi, sun in line with Uranus, and then of course the Jupiter 1-2, and Venus will also have a Cazimi early in June. So a lot of big energy and attention around the sun. So also, sorry, Bella, if we can just go back one slide just before we get to, I just want to draw a couple of other points there I think that were important, and the previous slide, sorry. Done such a good job. Yeah, so I think I just want to draw, no, sorry, the quality is not too far back. Wait, yes, this one. There we go. I just want to draw attention to something you put here about transformation. Be grateful and forgive. Now, sometimes we find it difficult to forgive ourselves. We find it difficult to forgive other people. Sometimes we can say, I cannot forgive the unforgivable. But actually, that's not true. You can always forgive everything. And as we expand into our greater sense of self, we start to take a different, more non-dualistic view on certain experiences or incidents, not just from this life, but maybe in our karma. And at some point, we all probably need to come to a place of letting go of the things that we cannot even forgive ourselves about. Maybe some of us are carrying energies of fallen angel in our karma, for example, and we're wondering, how did I fall from such a great position down into seemingly more murky waters? Well, at the end of the day, it's all just part of a great story and a great unfolding from great spirit, and we are just part of that dream and part of that experience. And from a more fifth dimensional perspective, you can see the glory of the story in its totality, and therefore you understand why sometimes your soul or maybe other people's souls took certain decisions that maybe at first are confusing or even seem of a lower frequency, but there is always a balancing out of cause and effect, or karma, which is action. And so we should always remember that for ourselves, but also maybe when we're suddenly getting triggered or being judgmental about somebody else and saying, oh, this person, da, 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 da. But maybe you're judging them or, you know, a variety of people on who they used to be and not giving them credit maybe for the inner work that they've done over the last few years or even the last few months. And so I just want to share that everything is momentary, including our perceptions of other people and their actions. So as we move forwards, there is no place for hatred or judgment. There is just a place for openness and acceptance. And I think as we're realizing from your Mayan Time and Magic course, Bella, we're all greeting each other through our glyphs and understanding how we can interact with each other through our glyphs, and who is the better person to go and ask advice for, who is the person who's going to bring up something as a trigger that you're going to need to look at. But understanding these are just functions that a tribe of different glyph members will actually give to each other. And that's a positive thing. That's something that we can then meet each being as an equal and as an opposite. And
it
I
brings
love
more
that.
tolerance. It brings more tolerance when it comes to other people. You realize that they all have different gifts and they have different information, and you can all collaborate moving forward. So you're, yeah, more accepting and more tolerant.
And everything that even is more challenging is then actually a catalyzing energy that can transform something. And so I think that's also worth remembering as we enter into what I believe on the Jupiter Cazimi is the end of the old paradigm and the beginning of the new. There are likely to be many challenges for people to have to come to terms with, and probably a lot of forgiveness towards certain aspects of society for a variety of reasons. Yes, Bella, go ahead.
Yes, I was going to mention it is a wave spell about feeling. So a lot of emotions could actually come to the surface in this wave spell, but it's about being in the flow. Do recognize them, see if it's something you need to address, release, and keep on going with the flow.
And always remember, everybody, that when you get triggered by some situation or even some person, say thank you very much. Thank you for showing me where I still have some inner work to do, because the game here, everybody, I would suggest and like to invite you to take part in is the game of evolution and creativity. And we want to keep evolving out those denser frequencies that don't allow us to receive the light, which is a big part of this next couple of weeks. So here we have the key dates during the next 13 days, starting on the 17th of May. And day 2 is the biggie that we've had our eye on for quite a while and been talking about for quite a while. I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of why that is shortly. We then have on May the 21st, we have actually what is a beautiful kind of aspect going on with Jupiter in Taurus, textiling or sextiling.
Not textiles, but sextiles.
Maybe if you're into machine work and making clothes, it could be a textiling opportunity. But in astrology, it's generally a sextile. And this is helping us to complete something, something that we've trusted in, a process that we've given a lot of ourselves to, put a lot of our energy into, is something creative. And I think that we're going to see in this wave spell, Bella, the culmination and completion of many of our original dreams and intentions. Some may be from this lifetime, some might even be thousands of years old and might be karmic, coming to a place of conclusion, because as we enter into New Earth, there are beings on this planet who maybe had initiatory roles to play in maybe more of the Atlantean time space that, as we all understand, kind of got hijacked and did not manifest in the way that it was meant to. So we have been working back through collective ancestral karma here on the planet. And of course, Atlantis was one that's sort of somewhat in our awareness, but it's still got a lot of mystery and fog surrounding it. So maybe as we enter the Aquarian age, we're needing to clean up some of the inverted energy that actually was part of the downfall of the last chapter of Atlantis. So I think that's also interesting. And we're also being invited, I think, with that sextile on May the 21st to review what we've learned. How have we moved on? How have we evolved? And how have our ideas shown that, I guess? And what is it that we're now stepping into that we put lots of our heart and 5D creative energy into? So that's May the 21st. We then have the second biggie, Bella, of the wave spell that we're going to look at in a minute with the charts, which is the full moon in Sagittarius. And also we have Venus entering Gemini, but giving this beautiful kiss, I would say, to Jupiter in that anaretic degree. So we'll have a look at that in the chart in a minute. We then have a very, very powerful astrological occurrence on day 9, May the 25th, which is when Jupiter enters Gemini. And that's going to be very much about the stimulation of the mind and the expanse, I guess we could say the expansion of the mind energy in some ways. And what else to say about that? Yes, it's going to expand our channels of consciousness, I feel, but also when I think about that, Bella, it kind of to me seems like the roll on from what we've been talking about for a while now, which is the expansion into more multidimensional states of being and understanding that we are multidimensional beings having a human experience in a 3D body all the time.
Communication channels, but not only with other people, but maybe to other realms as well.
Yeah, and also what I would like to say about this, and this is a big part of this whole wave spell, and I think one of the major themes for today is wherever your mind is at is the world that you are going to create. And actually, you said something there also about negative self-talk, which I'm speaking from my own personal experience. And again, little injury update here from Davyd. It's been a little while since I gave one of these, but had my x-rays and scans done recently, and my feet are healing very, very well, possibly 2 times, even 3 times faster than expected. And a lot of that is down to the daily meditations that I have done with my feet, with my body in general, and talk to them and only given them love. And what I will say is on the very odd occasion, particularly at the beginning of this process when I was in a bit more pain and I had bad moments and my mental space dipped a little bit, my feet would react in a painful way saying, we don't want to hear that talk, Davyd. It's not beneficial for us. We need to know that we're going to heal and we're already healed. So very, very powerful way, Bella, of me understanding that at a deeper level is like really and truly, I had to be in a complete place of trust with everything because I was almost made invalid, very, very vulnerable in a place that I'm not used to being in. It's almost like the Scorpio being turned upside down and not being able to defend itself. And it has someone coming along and tickling its belly and saying, look how easy it is. You know, for a Scorpio, that's difficult because, you know, managing our situations and being in control is something that we like to do. But sometimes we kind of have to step outside of that overly controlling kind of energy and say, I am going to trust whatever is coming towards me.
But the importance of being in touch with your emotions, because the emotions are the energy that puts everything in motion. They are the fuel that help you manifest. So if you are putting the emotions that are really heavy of anger, of low self-esteem, of anything that is of a low density, that is exactly the manifestation you will see, especially at this moment in life, for the planet and for everybody, where everything is accelerated. You are manifesting quicker than we used to because we have switched. There is more light coming to the planet. Everything is going faster. So very mindful of the emotions. Yes, you have to address them, but yes, you need to deal with them and move on.
Exactly. Really, really important advice there. Thank you, Bella. And actually, that kind of sets up the final day of the wave spell, the 29th of May, which is when Mars conjuncts Chiron and at 22 degrees of Aries. Very, very powerful point in the astrological chart, particularly for those of you that follow the Stellar Nations pathway. It's the location of Beta and Katos, or the Hall of Mirrors. So I would suggest that we're having that final look in the Hall of Mirrors to see how much we're projecting out to the world our wounding and trying to make it somebody else's fault, which there may have been triggers that created a situation, but ultimately we all decided to come here and be a part of this simulation experiment, whatever we decide to call this anymore. And I think that we're all wondering exactly what it is that we're involved in these days, but whatever it is, we all decided to come here and be a part of it. And that's amazing because we signed up to do something that has never been done before. And I think that we're now at the critical point, Bella, of we're in uncharted territory. And that's exciting. But Mars conjunct Chiron relates a lot to the body. Day to be careful, day to be very mindful of your thoughts, potentially a day cancel delete of accidents. I've already been through one of those myself. Don't want any more repeats. Happy with just doing one recovery period. Don't need any more. So just take it easy. Think about how the two energies of Mars and Chiron are quite different. Mars in Aries, very fast. I want to get involved. I want to do it now. Don't think about the consequences. Chiron's like, well, that's great, but let's just have a little bit of an ease up here. See if it's the best way forwards. Take it slow and steady, I think is the way forwards here. So that's the major bits and pieces. There are always a lot more, but we're going to now have a quick look at the two major charts, starting on May the 18th with a day that's been in our awareness for quite a while now, Bella. So let's have a look at the chart for the Jupiter Cazimi on May the 18th. I don't even know where to begin with this one.
There is so much, but more than anything, look at the geometry, beautiful trine there. So
yeah.
really positive energy. Obviously, with Jupiter, everything that has to do with expansion, with joy, with abundance, in Taurus of resources. So really good week, I would say, a really good wave spell to receive all of these beautiful. If you've been doing the work, I think you can get ready to receive, is what I'm feeling.
Yeah, absolutely, Bella. Thank you for saying that. And when we look at the full moon coming up in Sagittarius just 5 days after this, I think we'll get an even bigger hit of that energy. But for now, let's just have a little bit of a run over the energies here. So what I want to, first of all, draw attention to is the 40-day process that started on the April 8th total solar eclipse, and 40 days from that period to the Jupiter Cazimi is exactly 40 days. And what has that all been about? Well, some of us have been tracking the journey that we've all been on, sort of almost like a celestial sky journey that the entire population has been a part of. Because on the April 8th total solar eclipse, the new Earth timeline was anchored firmly and fully. Now, it can be anchored firmly and fully, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you fully stepped onto it, because that requires some kind of dynamic or kinetic action. And that is where the need for releasing density in the field is so important. You know, as Zach told us about, and as we're going to share with one of the plants of today, we need to be able to to be able to receive the incredible light codes that are coming both from the photon belt and Solano or the sun at this time. If our field is thick and dense and heavy and we're struggling and projecting and getting triggered all the time, we can't receive those codes. We need to be like a hot air balloon, and we need to be shedding the heavy ballast on the side of the balloon so that we keep lifting with the energies. And as we do, we will start to see that parts of ourselves are dissolving, that parts of ourselves are, we can almost say, dying, Bella. This is very much a death and rebirth process. And that can seem a little scary for some people. However, think about it, it's a death and a rebirth. So don't focus so much on the death. Think about more about the rebirth, like the old dying to the new. Or even, as we've said before, sometimes this could feel a little bit like a hashtag forced evolution. That could be a little painful, but it's only as painful as you want it to be if you resist the process. When we
And
truly
then the red moon is telling you, yeah, that is, it's all about natural cycles. For a new cycle, you need to finish the previous one. So end the cycle so you can start a new one. And even the serpent, as we saw in the beginning, is telling you the same. It's time for a metamorphosis. Move on. Evolution is about change.
And this is where something that we've talked about a lot before, Bella, the idea of the victim or the pain body really doesn't serve us. And once you start to observe like how being in those energies of pain and suffering and sorrow, yeah, there may be good reasons for it, and it may be being caused by certain things, but why are you allowing yourself to stay in that frequency? Every moment offers a potentiality of a choice. And now, for the first time, certainly in my life, I'm sensing the potentiality of a different type of existence far more strongly than I've ever felt before, even whilst I'm still recovering. In fact, probably because I've had time to sit and meditate more, I'm able to feel it more. And that's also really important, Bella, is that if we fill our days being distracted by box sets and untold amounts of holidays, all of which are great and fun, there's no problem with those. But if we're doing that as a way of not looking at what's going on for ourselves, and we're not taking that time out just to pause and feel the reflection of what we've been up to, then we're going to miss things, and we're not going to take the opportunities that are being presented. In fact, the opposite's likely to happen. We could cancel, delete, get sick, or find ourselves in some sort of physical pain and suffering. So I would suggest everybody, the game is here is to keep thanking those moments when we feel some sort of lower frequency emotion or energy. Thank you very much. Let me take some time out, meditate, investigate what happened there. Is it something triggered from earlier in this life? Is it possibly something karmic? A great plant, it's not one of our plants for today, but a great plant to do that, which would have been actually very conducive with this wave spell, but she's already appeared so often, is Lady Mugwort. Very, very good for doing an eagle's perch meditation. Let me just elevate myself out of this current situation and observe it from a fifth dimensional perspective without the emotions being the primary driving force. Let me assess what just happened there for me. Why did I allow myself to get wound up and angry and rah, 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 all of those things, right? So this Jupiter, yeah, go on.
Sorry, if you want to identify which house these Cazimi is happening for you, because it's you want to see what is it giving you after a whole year of growth. If you've been doing your inner work, see where you are going to see some kind of reward, and you can take advantage of it. Besides, that day is a galactic portal, so it's a really good day to receive gifts from the universe. See where it falls.
It's actually a very full day for a number of reasons. So we have that wonderful Jupiter Cazimi. And again, for those of you new to these terms, a Cazimi is when the sun is in direct conjunction with one of the planets. So we've just today filming on a Cazimi. Today's a Uranus Cazimi. It's day 10, as we always try to film the next wave spell episode of the Quantum Compass. But we also have a couple of other big things going on. Venus is actually, we can see that Venus is conjuncting Uranus there at 23 degrees of Taurus. So again, really adding that abundant energy of love and creativity and all of those wonderful energies that Taurus can give us. I would say, Bella, this is a big part of us setting ourselves up for the future. There feels to me a lot of foundational energy here. Have you got your storehouse ready? Have you got things in the storehouse? Are you ready to go forward on a new journey of exploration? Are you ready to discover, remember even parts of yourself long forgotten? Are you remembering your galactic nature, possibly through your Mayan glyphs? Or are you looking more deeply at your astrology, understanding how did I get here? Where am I going? What's this all about, right? So I think that
you
this
could also see some sudden changes, I think, in relationships and also in the financial area.
Yeah, well, yes, I think that that's very much on the horizon. And if
Yep.
you're paying attention, everybody, I would definitely keep your eye on the financial institutions. I think we're very close
Just
to a big change.
diversify is our advice more than anything.
Diversify and don't leave yourself too exposed in any one particular area, whatever that is for you, metals, cryptocurrencies. Just make sure that you have not got all of your eggs in one basket. It is a part of the change. It's going to happen. We have had very, very corrupt, basically tax-fueled systems, right, Bella? As we discovered in the Mayan Time and Magic course, that the Gregorian calendar was set up basically to collect taxes. Who would have thought that we've been living under a system that was designed to do that? So a lot of what Quantum Compass is about breaking down these old systems that were not set up to serve us, but actually to serve other parties, we can say. Also, we have Mars conjuncting the North Node. Yeah, there we go. So we've got Mars at 13 degrees of Aries conjuncting the North Node, very, very tight. It's only a degree orb there. And Mars will continue to do that for a few days after the Cazimi. And then, of course, is going to move on to have that conjunction with Chiron at the end of the wave spell on day 13. So very, very good day, Bella. There's as you said, it's a galactic portal day also. And that day is the white lunar dog, right? Is there anything you wish to say about that?
A white lunar dog is reconnecting with your heart. It's a day where you kind of see the polarities, but you want to unify them in your heart. So hopefully you've been doing a lot of work about everything that has to do with relationships, with unconditional love, and come to a place of compassion is what he wants to tell you.
Right, and what I think is really beautiful about this is when we look back to April the 8th, what was the wave spell, Bella, that we started on April the 8th?
April the 8th? What
Uh-huh.
was it?
It was the white magnetic
The
dog.
dog, the white dog. Oh, it's true.
So there is a very, very powerful delta or loop here, we can say, everybody. And one of the things I would like to suggest I'm sure many of you do this already, but have a diary that you put your astrological dates in, put in the various Mayan wave spells and start to just take maybe 10, 15 minutes each day to jot down the energies of the day. You might also want to take a tarot card like I did for this wave spell, which I will share later on. But I do that each morning. I ask the cards, like, what is the energy of today? How does it fit with the glyph of today? What is the astrology of today? I don't have to get too into my head about it. Some mornings I take 10 minutes to do it. Some mornings I want to sit and write up some notes from the previous day. And what I've noticed, Bella, from doing that, of course, is that you start to see the flow. And I would suggest that moving forwards from this wave spell, one of the things that you can call in for yourself is, how am I perceiving, how am I experiencing the flow of my life? Is it flowing, or is it like not flowing? Is it all jarred and jangled, and am I on edge and tense and what the hell is going on kind of energy? But if you look back to April the 8th, you will see that we had that very powerful energy of the heart of the dog. And that allowed us to really connect. I think if you were paying attention, and certainly from the perspective of me and you, we were able to go into our heart space and start to open that up in a more fifth dimensional, we can say non-dualistic way for the next wave spell that came in, which was, of course, the Blue Night. And what was that all about, Bella?
The dreaming that we did for the previous 2 wave spells ago.
Right, so this is where we start to see the flow. Open the heart, go into the dream space, spend a couple of weeks dreaming, thinking really from a heart place. What is it that I want for myself, for my life? Not from a place of selfishness, but a place of like, why shouldn't I dream for myself? What's wrong with that? Actually, I want my life to be flowing and at ease and in order, because when I'm in that space, I can be actually a better service maybe to others from that place. We then have moved into the current wave spell that we're just rounding out now in the next few days, which is of the yellow magnetic warrior. And what were the main qualities of that about, Bella?
It's about moving forward. It's a warrior quality of action and strategy and planning, which we have been doing.
We have been doing, and we'll share a
And
little
now
bit.
we're getting into this next wave spell. And what this Jupiter Cazimi is showing as well here is bring the higher mind ideas into manifestation, put them on the fertile ground now, and get the process started in the
Right. And so,
womb, on the
yeah, so
fertile ground. Mm-hmm.
this is how we can see how a castle can flow. Because in fact, if we go back to the original beginning of that castle before the total solar eclipse, the wave spell before that was, of course, a blue one, and it was the blue monkey, which was about magic. And so some of us decided to invoke magic on the eclipse and to help create something different, to call forth different galactic energies through the portal space of the eclipse. So this is how we can, with conscious awareness, start to really understand our quantum nature by observing the cycles of time and the flow of time and energy in space. And once we start to do that, our reality looks quite different, right, Bella? And I think that that's what's got me and you so excited over the course of the last few months.
Yes, we did lots of planning in this wave spell. We'll talk a little bit about it towards the end. Right, anything else about the Cazimi?
No, I think that that's as much as I wanted to share. It's a really, really powerful day. Definitely suggest taking time out and being with the energies of it, which then is kind of a lead in, I would say, or it's a flow into what actually manifests on the full moon in Sagittarius. So this loops back, of course, to the new moon just 2 weeks before, and of course, a full moon is a culmination of our new moon prayers. So we're actually working with different intentional energies here. We're working with the Mayan wave spells, but we're also working with the moon cycles, which of course also fit in the astrological calendar. So again, we are coming to a place of culmination and completion, but also of a new beginning, right, Bella?
Yeah, it's just completely different way of looking at time, of following time, of manifesting, of rather than seeing numbers in a calendar, in a Gregorian calendar, seeing the qualities of the energy that can actually work with you in your favor so that you live a different reality, create a different world for yourself and the people around you.
Super exciting. And the new moon, of course, was in Taurus. It just escaped me there for a second. And we're very much in that Taurian energy. So we were able to make our intentions, our dreams with the Jupiter Cazimi in Taurus. So much Taurian energy there to work with. And we come now to the wonderful energy of Sagittarius. And there's so much to talk about here. You know, I'm just deciding where to start. So it feels like this is going to open up something really, really beautiful and creative. It's all the things we were just talking about. Has your planning, your dreaming, your heart energy, your magic energy, have you been paying attention? Have you been working with it? Have you been alchemizing it? What did you put into your cauldron at the beginning of this castle back with the blue magic? What's been bubbling up? Well, now we're going to get to see what's coming to the surface. And if we've done that coherently and in alignment with our higher destiny and higher self, then we should be able to step into something now that is going to manifest down into the 3D world, because that is very Taurian energy. It's like, what is it that we want to bring from the higher mind space, the dream space, the manifestation space, down into our living existence, which I think really, Bella, is where the yellow warrior energy of this wave spell has been so useful. Because speaking for me as a Skywalker, I love the blue night energy because I was way out dreaming and doing all of the stuff I normally do, which is great, except that if it stays in that space, it never gets manifested. It just ends up staying in the ethers and the astral. So you need that energy of focus, discipline to bring it down, to action it into the 3D.
Yes, it feels like that fresh perspective, you know, after we did all of our dreaming, discerning, planning, strategizing. Now it's like, oh my God, I see what I want. And definitely the astrology is supporting you in whatever you want to move forward with. I think is where you need to see which house is all of this affecting, which area of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we've got this energy that really just feels very similar in its own way to the Jupiter Cazimi energy just a few
Very,
days
yes.
before, which is very much about like how have you perceived your spiritual journey until now? Maybe you came to the spiritual pathway late in life. Maybe you've been on the pathway for 2, 3 decades, maybe longer. But at this point, I think we're being offered the opportunity, particularly still with Pluto in retrograde, which is actually sextiling the moon and trining the sun. So it's giving us two very nice kind of harmonious aspects there for us to assess what we've been doing, how have we been taking it in, how have we received it, and not only how have we received it, but how have we alchemized it into a higher aspirational vision for ourselves and our future. And I would say that this full moon in Sagittarius is a time when we're going to get to see all of our hard work come into a place of
Yes, I
illumination.
agree. And look at the beautiful support here from this conjunction of Jupiter and Venus in the last degree of Taurus. It's like a culmination. It's like, okay, you graduate, you made it. Here's your reward. You did good work. It looks really amazing, to be honest.
It really does. And what makes it even more beautiful is this kind of Venusian kiss
Yeah.
that happens right at the end of Taurus as well, because Venus is going to conjunct Jupiter at around 29 degrees. We can see it there, in fact, just 4 minutes apart, and Venus will move out of Taurus shortly afterwards. So we're getting this beautiful sort of almost, yeah, to me, it feels like a Venusian kiss. It's like, there we go. Mwah. All of your plans have been blessed from upstairs. And if you were working and paying attention and doing your inner work, then there's absolutely no reason by quantum law that the amount of light being pummeled onto or pumped onto our planet right now cannot be received into your field and worked with.
So
So
hopefully,
yeah.
tangible resources, opportunities, maybe closer to making your dream become true, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think that's really beautiful, Bella. And I think that one of the things that's important at this time is to be able to
Yes.
receive whatever it is that you've been working towards, and don't somehow use the inner saboteur as a way to perpetuate a more sorrowful or sad timeline for yourself. There is no reason to choose that. But if you want to keep choosing that, of course, your choice. But I would suggest if you're watching this video and been doing your spiritual pathway for a while, you're probably like us and you're wanting a change. And I feel that change is coming, Bella, with this wave spell very, very much. And I would say to people, don't be scared. If you see big change happening in the world around you, a lot of what we are doing with the quantum compass and what we're going to share at the end of this show is to show you that there's a different way to exist, a different way to be, that doesn't necessarily require you to be taking your impulses from whatever is going on the TV or maybe going on for other people, because you can work with this yourself, right?
And that it may be just a sign of the crisis that actually makes us move forward. And
Yeah.
hopefully, you will be, by doing your inner work and by having done so much shadow work and healing, as we have been doing with quantum plant healing for the last 2 years with lots of people. Hopefully, you're here ready to receive your rewards and to move forward with new ideas. So it's an end of a cycle and new cycles with new ideas, new people sharing what they have to share.
Beautiful. And of course, as we round out the look at this chart, also Mars is still conjuncting the North Node. So this is still about aligning yourself with your future self. And if you've been listening to some of our shows recently, you will perhaps have heard me talking about the possibility that our higher self is our future self, thus our intuition that is always guiding us, because it has that little bit more intel than we do in, we can say, the now, because it's already experienced it. So work with your higher self, trust your instincts, trust your intuition. They are your God-given rights, we can say, to work with. And if you listen to them, then in my experience, you can never really go too far wrong, Bella.
You
And
can dare to be who you truly are. You can
right.
dare to be like who you were meant to be, to live your mission, to live everything that you came to do at this moment. And that is part of what we are going to mention a little bit further, right? With the
Yeah,
new project
new
to
projects.
share.
And also for the astrologers in us, I just wanted to point out that Ceres was in a nice trine there with Uranus. Ceres in Capricorn, trining with Uranus in Taurus, which to me also speaks of a new way of working with Mother Earth, I think, Bella, a new way of thinking about food, new innovations, new mastery of farming techniques that are not exploitative, but are actually co-creative. So I think that's exciting, because I don't know about everybody else, but from what I see in the world, we definitely need to come up with some new and innovative ways of interacting with our home that everybody benefits from, not just a few rich people at the top of the tree, which is part of what is collapsing. And we are being given this opportunity, Bella, to rethink, ground up how we resource ourselves, which I think
Yeah.
is pretty exciting, part of being sovereign.
Good.
Righty.
We're going to the plants now, the plants that want to be part of this journey of 13 days. And the first one is rosemary, one of my favorite ones. I have used this plant for smudging. I have used it for purification, so very powerful plant. Also, very on point with the idea of self-remembrance. So you want to remember who you truly are. And this plant is amazing to work with your memory, with your intellect. Beautiful plant. I love it.
Right, and I was just having some fun with the props off camera there. I managed to pick some rosemary from the garden this morning, and of course, wonderful essential oils and beautiful aroma, great for cooking with also. But as Bella said, this is a plant that is perhaps more known for its ability to help repair the mental faculties, the brain, but also to allow us to remember. And as Bella already pointed out, that's one of the great energies of this wave spell, is the remembering of our true self. So definitely recommend getting hold of some rosemary, maybe a little bit of rosemary oil in a spritzer, baby, around the energy field, Bella, maybe. And do you have any other suggestions to work with
Yes,
rosemary?
before you sit down or before you start your planning, your project, whatever you want to do, just inhale a little bit of rosemary, or if you have a pot by your desk, or as an oil, essential oil, it's just really good to open up, like to receive more information, to reconnect all of these neurons and neuroplasticity.
Right, and something that I like to do is I do wear some kind of pouches sometimes around me, and this one has various plants in it, but you could also put some of this in a little pouch so that it's in your energy field. You could also sleep with it underneath your pillow, or maybe in a dream sachet. You might even want to include some other plants there, like mugwort, maybe, to help you, which would have been another great plant for this wave spell. Mugwort seems to want to appear in every wave spell that
Right?
we do every show.
Mugwort
We
and
could have,
dandelion, they want to come on the
right,
right end always.
yeah, I mean, we could also have included dandelion, everybody, and a dandelion is very much a plant of the moment. He can help you see the synchronicities and help you stay in the present moment. But he likes to give the floor sometimes to other plants, and rosemary came into our awareness strongly for this reason. Rosemary beautifully is also connected to both the sun and Jupiter, astrologically speaking. So there's a very profound connection to the Cazimi there. And also, as Bella, I think, mentioned, it's good for purification. So here in Mexico, we've been suffering a little bit recently with the gnats and the mosquitoes, who've been giving me some troubles while I'm asleep. We can say I wake up in the morning with some new irritations to deal with. And so what I've been doing is smudging the room every day, working with different plants. And actually I was using sage, but I'm now going to switch over to smudging and purifying the space here with the rosemary. And I think that's also something you can give yourself every day, right, Bella? A little Olympia with some oil,
Yeah,
rosemary
with
oil,
the
or burn.
smudging is super powerful. Yeah. Right.
Right.
Let's go to the next one. We have horsetail as well. As we mentioned, we are in the middle of receiving. There's been so many solar flares in the last 48 hours or so. Lots of boreal lights and reported everywhere. So this plant specifically is really good, so that you can when there is so much light, you need to be able to move it around your body, and so it's a perfect plant for this moment when it comes to, I forgot the word.
Absorbing or lifting or
No, semiconductor is the word that it is. Yeah,
okay.
it's perfect for semiconducting the energy, and also to remove any heavy metals or anything that still needs to be discarded from your body.
Beautiful. And I mean, these pictures say it all, really. I mean, plant, is it a plant? We're not sure. It's classified as a plant. It's very definitely not from planet Earth. It's a very curious plant to pick up and touch, even to hold, right, Bella? It's different.
Well, something came to me today as well, and it's the fact that it looks like a pineal gland. And what this plant has is a huge amount of silica, and we are switching our bodies to becoming more light, more silica. We're going from carbon to silica. So our pineal gland is like a crystal or a series of crystals, and it tells me that this is going to help us with our pineal gland as well, not only with the rest of your body and to receive more light, but also to activate and help with your pineal gland.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And also, the other interesting thing about horsetail is that so-called pineal gland there actually is filled with spores, which makes it more akin to a mushroom than a plant. And that is how it propagates itself. It's through the spreading of spores. This is a very, very ancient plant from a different time space on planet Earth. It's also not originally from planet Earth, as I think you can tell. It looks pretty different. But it speaks to me of flexibility, Bella.
Yes.
for any of you who've happened to watch any of the videos we did some time ago now with the Ascended Master Zach and channeled by our friend Janet, he talked about horsetail, and he said something important, which I think is worth repeating right now, which is to add to what Bella said, which is this is a plant that is filled with silica and will allow us to be like horsetail. But in order for us to be able to receive that, we need to make sure that those dense energies have already been passed out of our system. So he did say, take horsetail. It's a very, very important plant for what is coming, but also make sure that you're not still clearing heavy duty stuff from your field, because it could give you some physical disturbances. So just a little disclaimer there. Hopefully all of our audience watching this have done enough inner work to be able to benefit from horsetail, maybe even working with horsetail already. But this is a plant that's going to allow us to be able to receive and absorb more light. And I think that Bella, when coupled with rosemary, receive more light, remember who I am, these two plants are going to work beautifully together over the next 13 days.
You know what else it does? Like when people have plantations and they need more silica, it's because they need to get the plants to be stronger and thicker. So what this plant is doing for us as well is making our cells stronger, thicker, giving us an armor. So our cells, our hair, our skin, everything becomes like an upgrade.
And also, as you're saying that, I'm looking at the picture on the right and seeing, of course, that horsetail is like a hollow bone. It's a hollow tube of light. And I think that picture on the right just showcases that wonderfully. And, you know, there's a lot to say about horsetail. There are many varieties of horsetail, but most importantly, I think the reason we wanted to share this is make sure that you are giving yourself the opportunity to receive as much light as possible, because that will help you unlock the remembrance of who you truly are.
Just like with bamboo, lots of silica that make you strong, but also absorb a lot of water. They store lots of water inside them. So perfect. Good.
Yeah, and if
So
you're
that's it from the plants. Anything else you want to close with?
I was just going to say, if you're going looking to forage, I mean, rosemary is easy to find, but if you're going to look for horsetail in the wild, just double check that you're picking the right variety, because some of them are not so conducive to the body, but also you'll find it in places that are a little bit damp, boggy fields next to a small pond, maybe. They tend to like to grow in those slightly damp places. And of course, they're an important part of the ecosystem too. So again, like Ceres and Uranus, maybe future past plant technology is going to come more into our awareness about companion planting. And actually, Bella, you know, there's been many discoveries in the last few years down in the Amazon about how our ancient so-called indigenous ancestors, those people who are not meant to be as developed as us, actually had incredibly complex systems of farming that allowed them to work very interactively with, perhaps someone could say, the more hostile energies of the Amazon jungle, but they were able to harness that energy. And if anyone's ever been to some parts of the Amazon, you would wonder how anybody could farm there, but somehow our ancestors managed to do that through techniques that we still have to remember.
Okay. Good. How about
So,
we go into the new project?
sure, okay. So what would you like to share about this, Bella? This is something that we've been working on pretty intensively for a short space of
Well,
time.
we dreamt about it during the wave spell of the Blue Night, and realized that there was something that we wanted to share, which should bring some of what we did before with quantum plant healing, but in a different way, in a more cosmic way. And we called it a navigation guide to quantum consciousness, because that is the intention of it. It's a project where, with 13 episodes or chapters, we want to get people to achieve that quantum consciousness, to understand the multidimensional selves, to have tools to navigate, to reconnect with their life purpose, and to see a path for creation and manifestation and for new earth, basically.
Super excited about this, everybody. It's kind of a culmination of many things that me and Bella have been working on since we first got together 2 years ago. And it's something that feels like the time has come for it. And as Bella just said, it's a different format to things that we've done before, particularly on the original quantum plant healing site. This is less about intensive 13-day immersions in a group setting, but more about receiving a transmission in 13 parts that you can receive into your field and work with, either in a group if you want for group projects, but mostly it's about you and how you want to navigate your way to quantum consciousness. The clue is in the title, but the subtitle, A Galactic Atlas for New Earth. that's largely speaking to what we perceive as the voyage of self-discovery that this journey is going to offer each and every one of us, including us, laying out the pathway. And we're going to do it in such a way, as Bella said, it's going to be an easily downloadable video chapter format, 13 parts every 13 days. So every new wave spell, for the next 13 wave spells, we're going to release a different chapter, and each one is going to follow a progressive pathway to you being able to manifest the things that you want in your life. And we decided to do it like this, Bella, because we wanted to lighten the load, but also to give people something that's easy to access, easy to download, and also very affordable. So we're only going to be offering each of these chapters at $26 per episode. So something very, very affordable that can be dipped into and out of whenever you want, even though we're going to do the sequence 13 starting on the red moon wave spell. We're always working in coherence, always working in the fractal time. And when we do that, everything has this incredible ability to flow, which is also part of what this 13 chapter journey is going to be about, isn't it, Bella?
Yes, so we're going to work with this over the period of 13 wave spells. So every 13 days, there will be a release of a chapter. And then obviously by the end of it, which is about 6 months, we will have a whole encyclopedia, you can call it, or
Or an atlas.
a whole book or atlas of how to create, manifest, be more quantum.
And a large part of this journey, everybody, which is why Rosemary's featured today, is to help you remember who you are, because New Earth is not going to be the old Earth rehashed. That's not really what this is all about. New Earth is going to be something completely different, which is going to require all of us to be in a different kind of energetic frequency, hence why we use the subtitle Galactic Atlas. We are going to create a new atlas for New Earth. It's probably going to look topographically similar. Maybe we'll see what happens here on the planet over the next few years, but topographically Earth will still stay much the same. But the original blueprint, energetic overlay that was originally being attempted, I believe, to be downloaded in the Atlantean era was never finished. It got hijacked, as we kind of understand now. But now we have the opportunity to finish that process and to bring heaven down to earth, to bring fifth dimensional consciousness down into the 3D so that we can be multidimensional beings here in the 3D body, which I think is really, really exciting. And for me, Bella, is the ending of the first half of my life, and I think the beginning of the second half. This has long been a dream of mine since I was a child, to move into a world that's more free, more just, more sovereign. And yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, so if you have an idea, a project you want to move forward, you can come and join us in this journey, because it's going to be a few of us supporting each other's journeys by going into this information and creating the new blueprint for what we want in New Earth.
Right. So we will be releasing more information about that, but it's going to, chapter 1 will be released with the commencement of the red magnetic moon on the 17th of May. So do keep your eyes open for that. If you've not already come over to Quantum Planet World, please do check out the site quantumplanet.world. Sign up to the free newsletter. You can also access the free QPW tribe where we post things and there's sharing sometimes. And also we have something coming up on May the 18th, which we will be sharing through our newsletter from QPW. So please do take just a couple of moments of your time to sign up to that. And of course, please do also like and subscribe the video here on whichever of our YouTube channels, or even Rumble you're watching this. It is important to keep the energy flowing and to build up a head of steam, because what we're sharing here, Bella, is not just something for each and every one of us. In fact, one of the mission statements of this 13-part journey is to assist in the evolution of New Earth for everybody.
Yes, so if you're interested in this journey, I will put the link here on the notes and you can find us there. I think it'll be a great complement to what we're doing here with Quantum Compass too.
Right.
Okay. And the final bit of news is that with the Cazimi on May 18th and through the full moon on May 23rd, we're going to have all of the courses in quantumplanet.world with 20% discount. So if you want to do the Mayan course, you'll get a 20% discount. If you want to do any of the stellar nations, or if you want to do the geomancy course with Patrick, you can do that.
Exactly. So this is kind of our way of saying thank you to all of the support that we've received on both QPH and QPW over the last couple of years, but also as a way of hopefully getting new audience members interested in the pathways that we're laying out on QPW. There was a reason why we put a geomancy course first, why we've been doing more cosmic related pathways, particularly with the wonderful stellar nations that we've been doing with Leslie. And of course, there will also be a cosmic history code show decoding the Jupiter Cazimi also coming out very soon too from me and Leslie. So all of this is trying to build a coherent tableau to assist you on your own navigational journey. And of course, there is Bella's wonderful Mayan Time and Magic course that has been literally exploding people's realities, mine included, since she put this together, and seeing the interactions between other members on a recent live call on how we're starting to meet each other in different ways through the understanding of the glyphs is something I think from a whole different time and mind stream, Bella, that's super exciting. That the Mayans left us their clues in the past, in the glyphs, in the pyramids. We had wonderful people like our cosmic brother, Jose Arguelles, who managed to download and decode the information. And now we're at a point where this we can say this remembrance of the fractal nature of time can be brought fully into the present, into the now for us all to benefit from.
Yep. That's
so
it from us.
That's pretty much it from us, except for one thing. Let's go back to the final
I've left.
today. We almost forgot. We did this last week and I had to stick it on the end, but I'm going to show everybody the card that I drew for this race from this wonderful pack. Again, very navigator, journey focused, the Enchanted Map Oracle cards from the wonderful Colette Baron Reed. And the card that I pulled for this wavespell, I think is just beautiful again, which is this card, Listening. So I'm just going to take 20 seconds to read what listening is about so that our audience can feel into the energy of it. So listening, an open heart will hear the message. When this card appears, you're being reminded that there is a time to speak and a time to be silent. Now is an occasion for listening. Pay attention not only to what is being spoken, but also to what is not being said at the moment. For the deeper message is not always obvious. Listen with your heart, not just your ears, and you will find clarity. Receiving the listening card is a fortunate sign and ensures a greater understanding of your circumstances.
Beautiful.
Right. So remember, everybody, that the real listening comes here. This is the real organ of perception. These things are useful to listen to music and various other bits and bobs, but the real listening comes at a deeper level. And hopefully what we've been sharing today, you will have been able to receive in that way. Because part of what me and Bella do is we try to listen to the universe and try to find a way to channel the information into hopefully something that makes sense for us, but also when we share it, it makes sense for all of you wonderful brothers and sisters out there too. So Bella.
So just to close, this is a wave spell to be in the flow. Trust the universe and dare to be yourself. Is the invitation, dare to be yourself. If you want to know more about your life purpose, your missions, or your codes, there is a lot of information. You could go with the astrology, you could go with the Mayan glyph, you could go with a galactic signature. So there is a lot of information and GPSs, compass and what your codes are. And once you understand what you're meant to be doing, then life is in flow.
And also just to say, actually, that Bella didn't mention it, but Bella is offering glyph readings for you to get activated with your mind glyphs. Bella, do you want to share anything about that right now?
Yes, we've been doing I've been doing quite a few galactic signature readings, which is understanding your glyph, which are your codes. What did you actually come to do when it comes to a higher spiritual mission? What is your galactic archetype? What energies support you? What are your challenges? When is your next galactic birthday when you can get the activation of this information? So people have been calling it activations rather than readings, but really good feedback. So super happy that it is helpful.
Excellent. And if you would like to have one of those readings, activations, then please do check out the links in the show notes below and you can contact Bella directly. And also to say, if you would like further advice or mentoring, perhaps on a more shamanic or plant experience, then you can smell the rosemary and get in touch with myself, and I will be happy to assist you in whatever way I can as well. And many people have been using that service with me for a number of years now. So we're here, as always, to assist people on their own journeys. And of course, we're on our own journey too. And we're having fun with it, right, Bella? We're trying to stay very much in the frequency of the fifth dimension of unconditional love, of creativity, but most of all, of course, the beloved goddess who is fully returning, thank God, to our planet at this time. And, you know, this is a big invitation, I think, with all of this wonderful natural energy we have during this wave spell to connect fully to the goddess and, you know, the goddess in our hearts. So, Bella, anything you wish to add at the end, or are we done for today?
We're done for today. In Lakesh, I am another yourself. So let's get this done together. Let's create the path to New Earth.
Beautiful. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Bella, as always. And we will see you again in 13 days' time, if not before, around QPW for the next episode of the Quantum Compass. Take it easy, everybody. Enjoy the Cazimis and see you again soon. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.